Good morning, everyone. This is John from Reset, and I'm excited because today we are talking to the mayor of our city, Sarah Aquino. Give her a big round of applause.
Good morning.
Yay. How often do people butcher your name?
Well, I either get Aquino or Aquino or Aquino. So yeah, it's, whatever. It's
There's a few different options in there.
yeah.
Every time I say, maybe it's my age, every time I say mayor of anything, I think of, as the mayor of the Munchkin City. Am I the only one that happens to, or?
I think so.
Okay. All right, great. Well, Sarah, why don't you tell us a little bit about your family and your history here in Folsom?
Yeah, so I like to say that my family ended up in Folsom because one time, about 17 years ago now, I listened to my mother.
Okay.
I grew up in Fair Oaks, lived in Fair Oaks since I was 4 years old. My mom still lives in the house that I grew up in. I'm the youngest of three girls. And when my husband and I first got married, we lived in East Sac, and then we bought our first house in River Park. And we loved the neighborhood and the location and all that sort of stuff. But then our daughter was born, and you start thinking about where you want to live long term and schools and all that kind of stuff. I went from kindergarten through 12th grade with a large group of kids, and I wanted that same experience for my kids. So we started looking around. We also wanted, a pool and a pantry and all those things that you get in a new home that you maybe don't get in an older home.
Yeah.
And so we started looking kind of places close to downtown. So we looked in Natomas, we looked in West Sac, and my mom said, you ought to check out Folsom. They do things right.
Oh, well,
and when I was a kid growing up, we came to Folsom, for the rodeo or to go to Hop Sing Palace. Was my dad loved to eat there. So so we did. So we checked out Folsom. We ended up buying a house. We sold our house in River Park. We lived with my parents for 6 months. And then we moved into our house in Folsom in December of 2003. And then our son was born in 2004, and we're still in the same place, and we love it.
That is so great.
Listen to your mother. That's the moral of the story.
Well, there you go. There may or may not have been at least a dozen times I've taken a little walk down to Hop Sing for those pot stickers. Are you a pot sticker fan?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Well, if you're ever in the mood, Hop Sing is the place. It's a good thing. I'd love to talk about the process of becoming mayor because maybe it's because I've seen Back to the Future so many times. I picture, posters all over the town and vote for Goldie Wilson. But the process works different here in Folsom. Could you explain that to us a little bit?
Yeah. So there's lots of different ways that cities choose their mayor. Some cities like Sacramento and Elk Grove have a directly elected mayor, meaning the voters vote for the mayor. Some places like Roseville currently, they're going to change the system, but right now, the person who is the highest vote getter, for instance, in the 2018 election, serves as vice mayor for 2 years, and then mayor is 2 years. The city of Rancho Cordova does a rotation where literally every year you just move one chair to the right until you're sitting in the mayor's seat. But in Folsom and also in Citrus Heights, our council selects the mayor, which is actually fairly common for cities our size. It's in our charter. And so the council selects the mayor, but the mayor also serves at the pleasure of the council. So, I think with every system, there are advantages and disadvantages.
Sure.
The advantage of our system is that the mayor always has the support of a majority of the council. So, and if at any time you don't have the support of a majority of the council, a majority can get rid of you. So, it's worked pretty well for us for 75 years.
Wow, that's good. So can anyone become mayor if they aspired to that office? What would the process be like? Like if I wanted to become mayor, what would my first step be?
Assuming you're already on the council?
Okay, so that's a first step then.
Because we choose from within, our 5 council members. So theoretically, anybody on the council could possibly be the mayor. It's kind of an awkward dance that we do, trying to figure out who's going to be the mayor for the coming year and the vice mayor. There are people who've served on the council who never were selected to be the mayor. I think for me personally, the things that I'm looking for in a mayor, I want somebody who can speak intelligently and articulately on behalf of the council. I want somebody who can lead a meeting. I want somebody who's accessible and visible. And I think the most important thing is that I want somebody who is ready to assume the role of the team leader. And, we have all kinds of roles that people assume on the council, right? You've got somebody who's the policy wonk. You've got someone who, maybe is the big picture person. You've got somebody who's the consensus builder, who brings people together. But you also usually have somebody who is the disruptor of the status quo. And I don't say that in a negative way. We need people like that in government because you can get so bogged down in bureaucracy. You think of somebody like John McCain on the national level, who I would say was a disruptor. And in my 4 years on the school board, I was probably known as the disruptor. But in my 4 years on the school board, I never served as the board president. And I think that it's just kind of the way it is. If you're the disruptor, you don't get to be the team leader. And if you're the team leader, you can't be a disruptor. So, we play different roles. You don't have to be, that role for your entire time on the council or the school board, but, everybody plays a role that, they need to.
I think of a disruptor as kind of a prophetic role, not like foretelling the future, but seeing things maybe that not everybody readily sees and calling those things out, even if they're not popular. Is that kind of what happens?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. What are some words that you use to describe Folsom? If you're talking to someone and you just had to choose, one word at a time, what are some of those words that come to your mind?
I would say family friendly, so a hyphenated word, family friendly.
That counts.
Active, historic, conservative.
Conservative in what ways?
I think we're still pretty politically conservative.
Okay.
Family values, conservative. I'm not saying in a bad way. Yeah.
Is that so? If you were giving an elevator pitch to someone, you're standing with them, you got like 15 to 30 seconds to say, "This is why you should come to Folsom." What does that sound like?
I would say that Folsom has the amenities of a larger city, but we have that small town feel. And the things that make Folsom attractive to families are the same things that make Folsom attractive to an employer looking to relocate. We've got, outstanding schools and a very educated population. We've got great amenities and recreational amenities where, your employees can hop out at lunchtime for a quick paddle on Lake Natoma or a walk on the trails or whatever. And we've got great quality of life, but we're still, pretty affordable.
Yeah, that's good. One of the things I will never do is pop out during the day to go for a run. I'm not a runner. Are you a runner?
Well, I was in my younger days. Okay. Yeah, I actually grew up rowing on Lake Natoma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I grew up in Fair Oaks, right above the fish hatchery in that neighborhood up there.
Yeah.
So spent a lot of my high school and college days at Lake Natoma, at the Aquatic Center.
So is that what you were known for, like in high school, or what, you were a sporty person, or were you in student council leadership?
Yeah, well, I was on the rowing team and I was on the tennis team, but I was in student government, we called it. I was the sophomore class treasurer and the junior class president, but I lost the race for student body president to a good friend and neighbor, and I cried for days. It was just like it's terrible.
Oh.
And, I was a good student. I was just a good kid. I didn't get into trouble.
Yeah, that's so tough. It's my kids all tried for student government at one point or the other, and you're in their corner so bad, and you feel so bad when they don't get.
Well, I'll tell you a quick funny story. So, so I went to Earligan Elementary School, kindergarten through 6th grade, and at the end of the 5th grade year, we would have the election for student body president. So if you're in 5th grade, you could run to be the student body president for the following year. So there were, I think, maybe 5 or 6 of us who ran. and nobody got 50% plus one. So the top two had a runoff. So it was me and this boy, Ryan Hilbert, who I went from kindergarten through 12th grade with. We were in this runoff. And the teacher, who was the advisor to the student council, came up to me after the runoff. By the way, my maiden name is Cox, C-O-X. So my slogan was, put a check in the box for Sarah Cox. So Aquino is a little tougher to rhyme. But so the teacher, who was the advisor to the student council, came up to me and he said, Sarah, congratulations, you have been elected student body president for next year. But he said, I have to tell you, the race was really close. And I'm wondering if you would allow Ryan to be your co-president. He said, go home, think it over, let me know tomorrow. So I go home and I'm telling my mom and dad this story, and my dad starts shaking his head like this. And he said, no way. He said, you won that election fair and square, and you go tell that teacher tomorrow, thank you very much, but you're not interested in having a co-president. So I got to be the student body president. Ryan Hilbert was named chairman of the board.
Well, there you go. Way to go, Dad. That is good. Sticking up for you. I'm curious, was his "Don't be a Dilbert, vote for Hilbert"? What?
I do not remember his slogan. I don't remember.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. I wonder if Hilbert is the mayor of somewhere now.
I don't know.
That is good. Okay, so I'd like to go back to the words you were using to describe the city, and you said conservative. I'm curious. I think one of the things, fair, good, bad, right, or wrong, that conservative cities get labeled with is their inability to change quickly. If you were to give our city a grade, A, B, C, D, on its ability to adapt to change, what kind of a grade would you give us?
Well, I think it depends a little bit on the context. So for example, if you think about what we're having to do right now with the coronavirus, I think the city of Folsom has done a really good job of adapting and changing. So for example, we worked with the Greater Folsom Partnership to do a lot of outreach to business and to identify some things in our municipal code that we could relax or suspend temporarily, so that businesses, can put out some signage that right now we don't allow, or you can use a parking space to have, a little parklet, we're calling it, where you could have, some tables and chairs set up or whatever. So that sort of stuff, I would give the city an A, because I think that was identified very quickly and put into action very quickly. If the FHDA decides, yeah, you're ready to close down Sutter Street, we can make that happen, right? But if you look at things like maybe some of the online services that we offer to residents or businesses, maybe Folsom was a little bit behind some other cities and that sort of thing. I would give it maybe as a C in that.
Okay, average.
Yeah. And well, I mean, I do think you have to be able to change and to adapt. I think there's also some comfort in knowing that, some things won't change. Folsom will always be a very family-friendly town. Hopefully, sure. We'll always have a commitment to doing things the right way, like my mom, thinks of Folsom. But in terms of the economic development stuff, I think that's really important, why we have a great partnership with the Greater Folsom Partnership, because private industry is just more nimble than government. It's just the way it is, because they don't have to go through all the processes and the steps that we do, right?
Yeah. There's a theme with all of these coffee combos where everybody, of course, we're talking about how much we love Folsom, and that's part of what we want to do with this, is we want to spread good cheer. But I counseled people for years, and there's this term called idealistic distortion, which is the concept where we see everything through rose-colored stained glass, eyeglasses. And we know Folsom isn't perfect, honestly. So if you were to wave a magic wand and change something about Folsom, what would you want to change? Knowing that she's great, they do things right, like Mom said, but she's not perfect.
I think if I had a magic wand, I would take the walkability of the historic district and just have that radiate out through the city.
Wow.
And we're getting better. You know, if we had a magic wand, we wouldn't have to be constrained by finances and that sort of thing. But for example, right now, if you walk from the central business district, let's just say you're at Dutch Bros and you want to walk down to Sutter Street. We don't even have sidewalks all the way down Riley Street to take you down that busy street. We're going to have a sidewalk one side down Riley Street this year. There are parts of East Bidwell Street where, like, let's say you have a kid who lives, you know, on Montrose and is walking along East Bidwell to get to Sutter Middle. There's a place that doesn't even have sidewalks there. There's some widening happening along East Bidwell right now that's south of Blue Ravine, and that's, you know, going to extend the sidewalk, so that's a good thing. So I would like to increase the walkability of the city. And I think it's happening, but it's happening slowly. And if I could have a magic wand to make it go faster, that's what I would do. Yeah. I'll throw in one other thing that's just kind of a minor thing. But, you know, the city of Folsom used to have a contract with the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation where we would have inmates pick up litter along the side of the road. Okay. And we don't have that contract anymore because a couple of years ago, some inmates were picking up trash, and there was an accident. There was no city staff present. It didn't involve city staff or vehicles or anything, but we got named in a lawsuit. And so now we don't have that contract anymore. And so I'm very, very hypersensitive. I see litter around town. And I live in Empire Ranch, and I spend a lot of time picking up trash on golf links and Broadstone Parkway and Empire Ranch Road. And it just drives me crazy when I know that I have everything picked up, and then 2 days later I see an In-N-Out cup, and you know, and it's just like, oh, if I had a magic wand, it could just clean up, you know, or make people not throw their trash out. That would be another good thing.
I love that. I keep getting this picture of the beginning of Beauty and the Beast, this provincial life, people walking around, and I love that. And I do think that we have, in the historic district, like you said, we have that feeling. So I like how you said, I think you said have it radiate out into the city. That's fantastic. I love that. Okay, let's change gears here for just a minute. You're in the insurance business too, yes? Is that true?
Yes, my day job, I'm a life and health insurance broker. And, you know, I've spoken at a couple, I participated in career days, like at Sutter Middle and Folsom High and stuff. And I always tell the kids, nobody grows up dreaming of being a health insurance agent or a life insurance agent. But
the most respected profession.
But my dad was in the insurance business since the 60s. I was born in a suburb of San Diego. So that's how we moved from San Diego up to Northern California, because my dad had a job. But my dad got into politics in 1988. And then, you know, my mom kind of ran the business for him and that sort of thing. And then at one point I'm the youngest of 3 girls. I'm the only one who didn't leave town to go to college. And so my dad said, hey, Sarah, we need some help at the insurance office. Are you interested? So I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So there are advantages and disadvantages to working in a family business. I don't think my parents trained me the same way they would if I was somebody who wasn't a relative. The times that I learned the most is when my mom and dad went on vacation, because then I had to figure it out all by myself, right? And so you have to call carriers or whoever, and you have to just ask the dumb questions and learn the hard way. But so while I didn't grow up dreaming of being an insurance agent, it has been very good for me because it's provided, you know, good income, but it's also provided me a lot of flexibility. So when my daughter was born, she came to the office with me for the first year. She would take a nap at the office and all that sort of stuff. And then, of course, she starts walking and gets more mobile. And I told my mom, that's it. I'm not coming here anymore. Hire somebody. So then I worked from home. And then when my kids started going to school, then I started going to work a little bit more, but I still had the flexibility to, you know, go on field trips or class parties or whatever. And my husband's a school teacher in another district. So when he's off in the summer, then I could work more. And then now that I'm on the council, it gives me a lot of flexibility to leave in the middle of the day and, you know, go to meetings or go to events or whatever. So it's been good. And, you know, I get a lot of satisfaction. I help people navigate something that to many people is very overwhelming and very confusing to figure out all their health insurance options and what's best for them. So I get a lot of satisfaction from it. But, you know, again, I didn't I didn't grow up dreaming of being a health insurance agent.
Well, we have a little bit of something in common because a bajillion years ago, I used to actually sell life and health insurance.
Wow.
And I taught continuing education classes for the state of California.
Okay.
Doing that. And I don't any longer. But that's fun. I'm glad you said that about a family business and how you learn best. That's good advice for me because we have a family business, and my 2 daughters and my son-in-law work the business. They're highly intelligent, self-starters, independent, and that's a good word of advice for me to, let them learn.
Yeah. But you also, like I said, you probably don't treat them the same as an employee who's not part of your family. Maybe you assume that they know more than they do, or, whatever. So yeah, it's, there are advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, this is good. I feel like you're counseling me. I feel like I should pay you for this interview. That is good. When you go out and about in Folsom, night on the town, what do you do? What does your family do?
Well, John, first of all, I'm one of those gals that would say that nothing good happens after 9 p.m. I'm kind of a homebody, in the house. So
you and my wife, both the same.
So, I mean, we like to eat out and, try different places, or, eat on the patio, go out with friends, that sort of thing. But I'm not somebody who's, going to listen to music at night or going to a bar. That's just not my scene. So yeah, like to eat out. I love to walk on Sutter Street during the day, like on a Saturday, and just pop into the stores and see what kind of treasures you can find. I like, one of the things, a couple months ago, I did a tour of all 49 parks in 49 days. We have 49 city parks here in Folsom.
That's so fun.
And there were parks that I had never been to, let alone heard of. And I just kind of wanted to check the condition of them and see where they all were. And one of the fun things that we really did was there's bocce ball courts at Economy Park, the newest park in Folsom. And so we invited.
Where is that park?
It's at the corner. It's basically across from Briggs Ranch. It's basically at the corner of, what is that? Blue Ravine and East Natoma.
Okay.
Yeah, by that Raleigh Shopping Center. And so they have 2 bocce ball courts. And so we invited 3 other couples, and we brought a spread like cheese and crackers and salami and pizza and whatever. And we just played bocce ball. It was so fun. So things like that I like to do, but I'm not a night on the town kind of girl.
That's okay. That's okay. Completely okay. You have permission to be you.
Thank you.
You have permission to be the sole student body president. You don't have to share that with anyone. If a famous person played Sarah Aquino in a movie, who would that famous person be?
It would probably be somebody like Emma Thompson, but without the British accent, I don't.
That's such a great pick. I love that because everybody knows she doesn't go out after 9. So it's perfect. Sarah, what's the biggest hurdle that you face in your job as mayor?
The biggest hurdle. I don't know. I got to tell you, being the mayor of Folsom is pretty darn fun. I think it's frustrating. There's things that, that people wish that we could do, whether it's the homeless or whether it's granny flats or whatever, it's the state telling us we can do something or we can't do something. And that is frustrating. That's probably for me, the frustrating part. Gotcha.
Then what do you think is the best thing about being mayor?
Well, the best thing about being mayor is the same as the best thing about being a council member, is just the people that you meet. I just enjoy so much meeting residents and hearing their stories, and, going to events that I normally would never go to. Like a couple months ago, I judged the menorah building contest, with the Jewish community. I've been to things in the Muslim community, you know, things that you just normally wouldn't go to, maybe if you weren't on the council. And I just think those are really interesting. While I've been mayor, you know, the mayor has a very nice office, a corner office at City Hall that really, you know, depending on who the mayor is, sometimes it gets a lot of use, sometimes it doesn't. I try to use it a lot, but every Thursday from 2 to 5, I hold office hours at City Hall. And January, February, and the first Thursday in March, I probably had, you know, 5 people each time is what I averaged, something like that. And then because of the coronavirus, I had a couple months where nobody came, even though I was still there. And a couple of weeks ago, I had some more visitors. So hopefully as things are starting to loosen up, but I tell you, that is the highlight of my week is my office hours. And people come in, sometimes they come in with an issue, you know. Sometimes, you know, one lady came in and said, oh, I saw that you went to all 49 parks. I did the same thing. And she showed me all her pictures. One gentleman came in because his grandmother has now passed away, but they thought that she was the oldest continuous Folsom resident, basically, that she was born here in whatever year it was, and she had never left. She never lived anywhere else. Yeah. So just hearing stories like that, it's just fun. It's really fun.
I love that. I love that. Okay, word association time, little games. You like games?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, first thing that comes to your mind when I say coffee.
Ice cream.
Oh, like a combo.
Well, no, coffee ice cream.
Oh,
I don't drink coffee, so yeah.
I love that. Coffee ice cream. Okay. Wine.
Let's see. I don't know. You know what? I don't drink coffee or wine or beer, John.
Well, there you go. So the 3 things that we offer the most of at Reset, but that's okay. We also offer things like lemonade. So how about lemonade?
Lemonade, summer.
Oh yeah, it's that time, isn't it?
Yeah, we have a lemon tree in our backyard. It's a dwarf Meyer lemon, but that thing puts out at least 500 lemons a year. It is crazy.
Oh my
and no
goodness.
matter how much we hack it back, it is just prolific. It's crazy.
That is insane. Okay, here's an easy one. First thing that comes to your mind when I say Folsom.
Lake.
Lake. Do you spend a lot of time at the lake?
Not as much time as I would like, but like I said, I know Lake Natoma like the back of my hand because I grew up there and spent so much time on it. But yeah, I like being on the water. I like the feel of being on the water. So
Sarah, how do you reset in your life? How do you, let down, relax, rejuvenate, recuperate?
Yeah. Well, prior to this pandemic, my schedule is pretty busy. It's a lot of coming and going and a lot of, meetings and events and this and that. And I'm kind of always on the go. And so I really reset by being at home. I love our backyard. I like to pull weeds. I like to, I got my flower pots and, I got all my borders and things that I like, my vegetables. So I like to spend time in the backyard. I like to read a lot. And sometimes you just got to veg in front of the TV.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things to do. That is good. Is there a question you wish I would have asked you today that I didn't ask? No, I think you did a good job covering it all. We covered it all? Yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending
Thank you. I will. You have iced tea at your place too?
Oh, yes, we have iced tea. Yeah, we have regular iced tea. We have a hibiscus berry iced tea. Yeah, Okay.
Wonderful. So I'm not a coffee, beer, or wine drinker, but I like iced tea and Arnold Palmer. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are all good things. Yes, we can make you happy. You can reset and spend some time especially as you're walking around the historic district on a Saturday, right?
I know. And my daughter recently started working at the Sutter Street Taqueria, so I'll have to go visit her and then come visit you. Yeah.
We're neighbors. Look
yeah.
At that. That's good. Sarah, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Peace, love, and daily resets to you.
Okay. Thanks. You too.